Good morning and welcome to the Today's Restaurant News Chapter 2 networking meeting. We are a group of restaurant vendors in the industry who are here, who are able to help each other and able to help restaurateurs who might have a problem or an issue that they want solved. And you are welcome to contact us and bring your questions to us. If you'd like to contact us, call us at 561-620-8888 or go on our website at trnusa.com. Today we have a guest speaker, John Davis, who has extensive experience in the restaurant and the food service industry. And he is now a business coach, and we've had some conversations, and it's very interesting. And hopefully, we can continue to have several more good conversations. So, John, I'm going to hand it over to you. You have the screen. It's all yours. Welcome. Thank you for coming and welcome.
Thank you for having me. And thank you all for participating. I'm trying to real quick on the fly, drop in some of the files that are going to show that we shared. I think Howard emailed them all out. I created one other, Howard, just this morning. And it's basically a PDF of the presentation that I'm going to use here. And the others I can't drop in because I have them open, but I think you all have them. So let me share my screen. And let me get to the right view. All righty, can you all see a kind of a PowerPoint welcome screen?
Yeah.
Action Coach, okay. So when Howard and I spoke, he's like, well, what do you have to talk about? And I work on many different things. And what I've done today is I've put together annual planning workshop summary. And really, when I do these workshops, they're about 2-3 hours long. So what I thought I'd do is I'm showing you the tools. We're not going to clearly we can't complete that in 2 to 3 hours, but I wanted to show you the steps and work through it so that then you can go do that on your own, if that makes sense. And if you have questions, you can call me, because I don't think we can get to build your whole plan. Your whole business plan in 20-30 minutes would be a little aggressive, if that makes sense.
Right.
So basically my goal whenever I'm working with somebody, your time's the most valuable asset, right? People worried about financials, but it's the time that's the most important thing. So we want to make sure that people get ways to increase their sales, profits, free up their time, and create a team. When I work with business owners, anything they're working on comes in one of those 3 areas: time, team, or money. I'm trying to generate more revenue and profits. I don't have enough time in the day, and I need a team to help support me. So this is something we always focus on, and we do that by working on the business. Has anyone ever heard of Action Coach or business coaching? Anyone? Okay, a few. So we're the number one firm. This says 70 countries. We're actually in 88 countries, about 1,000 offices around the world. Our vision is to create world abundance and business free education. That's what coaching is. It's an education. And collectively, we're coaching 15,000 businesses around the world, and we have a community that shares. So if I have a question that one of my clients is running into, an issue, and I don't know the exact answer, I've got 1,000 people to lean on and 30 years of experience to rely on as well. So we share amongst each other very to a high level. A little bit about me. I am a business coach. My background was manufacturing, commercial food service equipment. I'm an engineer who could talk to people just a little bit more than any other engineer. So I got moved into managing technical service, product management, and then ultimately my last, I'd say 10, 13 years of my career, I was heading up the marketing and engineering departments, one for Charleston Refrigeration, and then Vice President of Marketing, Product Management, Engineering at Unified Brands, which, if you know the equipment side, would be Randall, Groen, Power Soak, Avtech, et cetera. So a lot of time in the leadership teams roles. And then 2020 hit, and I realized, like many people, I want to do something a little bit different. And I said I can apply my skills to coaching, and I found an action coach who's got this library. So I bring my materials in there, or my insight in their materials together. Our definition of a successful business: commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you, right? Ultimately, if you want to be a business owner, you want to get to where you don't have to do everything every day. You can rely on a team, or at least that you can minimize that effort. We talk a lot about BFOs, kind of light bulb moments. Stands for blinding flashes of the obvious. It's ideally you're going to go through this and go, oh, that makes sense. Right? I mean, we're going to teach you some new things. We're going to show you some new things, but it really sticks. You're like, wow, why didn't I think of that? Those are the things that really stick with us. So you may see some BFOs, and you may ask me, you may hear me ask that. And I apologize. We have a puppy, and I debated on locking him up or letting him free. He is chewing at my chair right now. So I hope he doesn't make any other noise. So here's the general premise. When people work on their business goals, and especially when we were in the corporate space, we never thought about the personal side. On the business, as a business owner, particularly in a small, medium-sized business, the personal goals and the business goals have to be much more aligned. So we really start with the personal aspirations, convert them into financial targets. Then we talk about the current state business situation, and then we'll get into one-year goals and then 2 goals. So this is the journey through the process, if that makes sense. Any questions at this point, other than the dog? Okay. So Howard shared a whole bunch of files. One of them is the goal planning worksheet that looks like this. And we're not going to be able to complete the whole thing in here, but I wanted to demonstrate. Has anyone ever made a bucket list?
Yep.
Yep. This is kind of a bucket list with 2 twists. Okay. First, what I like about it is it gives you categories to kind of focus in a little bit more, right? And the idea is think about 10 things you want to have, 10 things you want to do, 10 things you want to go. You can ignore meat for this process. Meat is included when I'm working with a client. I ask them the 10 people they want to meet if they're not bound by time and space. And if I can learn more about that client in that space. One lady I was working with, she had all these authors, and it was Joan of Arc and all these female authors that I didn't know, and found out that she was really passionate about powerful women, right? So that gave me insight into who she was. Hush. But the first exercise, the first part of it on that goal planning on the tab, the HDGM, would be to capture 10 things you want to have. It could be a beach house, a mountain house, it could be a Corvette, it could be a motorcycle. It's the material possessions you're seeking. The 10 things you want to do would be the scuba diving, the parachuting, paragliding, and then the 10 places you want to go or the travel. So it's like a bucket list, but it gives a little bit more focus to it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then the key, so, if you had time here, you could write a few things down that you want to have, do, or go. But then the real key, the next step, is to turn that into a financial target. Because a lot of people create the bucket list without thinking, well, how am I going to pay for that? I want to go to Australia for 3 weeks. I want to go to Africa for a safari. I want to go, whatever it is I want to do, but nobody figures out how they're going to pay for it. They just say, well, I'm going to make enough money. When I get enough money, then I'll go do it. Right. And this is about creating the plan to turn the dreams into a financial goal to then figure out how you're going to grow your business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what I have people do is, after listing these have, do, go, you get about 30 items. You put it on the next sheet and you put a dollar value to it. So if you say, I want to go to Australia for 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever, because you're not going to go just for the weekend, right? You say, okay, that's going to be a $30,000 trip. I want to buy a Corvette. That's $100,000. I want a beach house. That's going to be 3 million, whatever it's going to be. And you total it up, and that gives you a financial goal. You say, okay, my business needs to generate X. So you go in here, you go in this tab, you'll subtotal it. There's some calculations at the bottom, and also don't forget, kind of your salary, what you're going to pay yourself. In the end, you get a number that says over the next X number of years, you need to generate X amount of dollars. So without fully going through the exercise, without fully going through the, I may have to lock you up. You would say I have a number. So anyone have a number in their head of what they think what their number may be that they want to share? If you don't, that's fine. All right. So let's say it's $5 million. Okay. And you currently have a million in your assets or whatever. So you now have a financial goal of what you need your business to generate would be an additional $4 million. Make sense? So there is another tab in here. It gets a lot deeper about lifetime goals that I'm going to skip over. If you have questions, you can call me. But then this next tab is, it turns that $4 million that you need to generate into something that you can plan for. So let's say this year, and I don't know if this is too small. So sorry. So we're sitting here in 22, and let's say current cash is like I said, $1 million. And you say, I want to work 8 more years. Well, I'll say 10 more years. So I'm going to put in 2032. And I've said I want to generate $4 million. Well, I know what my profits are. They come out of my business, right? In theory, we've been running businesses for a while. So if you needed to generate 4 million and you collect 20% out of all of your revenue dollars, you take your 4 million and you divide it by that 20%, and you're going to get, I should know that, but while I'm presenting, my brain doesn't work.
800,000.
So you're going to divide by the 20%. 20 million. 20 million in revenue is what you need to generate. If you have 20 million in revenue, you generate 20% return for yourself. That's going to give you the $4 million you want personally. Make sense? I forgot to put that in here. So you're going to generate 20 million in revenue. And like this says cash, let's say you're at 4, your business generates 4 million. You're going to generate 20. What this does is it creates a target, because it's one thing to say, hey, in 10 years, I want to generate $20 million. But how much do I have to do next year? And we often overestimate what we can get done in 1 year, and we underestimate what we can get done in 10 years or 5 years. And this is based upon the premise that if you have a growth goal, halfway through the timeline, you need to be to 30% because your growth accelerates. So basically, and I do this because a lot of business owners, if they're sitting at, say, 4 million in revenue, and they think about 20 feels too far. I can't get there. I think a lot of people can get there. So, well, okay, what do I need to get there next year? And according to this, you would go next year, your target's 4.44. The year after that, 5.24. After that, 6.13. So it gives you your timeline of targets to step through. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a reality check.
Right, exactly. Because otherwise, it could be perceived as too big, or okay, what do I need to get this? Okay, 4 point going up 10%. That's viable. I can get there. And then you're just going to keep doing it. So this translates. So we've taken our personal dreams, turned it into a financial target, and then turn that financial target into a business revenue target. Good?
Good.
All right. So this explains, and this is a PDF that I've dropped into the chat. This talks about the have, do, go, meet. This explains what we just did on the Excel file, the goal planning Excel file. So now I want to get into the business fundamentals, the business that you're running. And we have a thing called the 6 steps. Has anyone ever heard of this?
No.
Okay. All right. So when you're I'm assuming, and I hope I don't offend anybody, I'm assuming when I look here, most of y'all have been running your business for a while. Any brand new business owners in here? No. Okay. In the beginning, when you start your business, it's about eliminating the chaos that exists. You know, you're trying to put all the pieces together, and you're trying to build this thing right out of the gate. It's typically pretty tough. So a business works on eliminating chaos. When they've done that, they create some stability. At that point, they focus on their niche, which is their unique selling proposition, and how you build predictable financial growth, knowing what your finances are. It's all about, how am I going to monetize this business? In the beginning, it's building blocks. Second is financials. With the cash, the next level for a business owner is to work on efficiency, which is your leverage. That's your systems and your processes, so that you can get it done and you can grow the business, without working. If you built it, working 40 hours a week and you want to double it, well, you can't work 80 hours a week, right? So you have to put systems and processes in place so that the building grows, or the business grows, without more time invested. The next phase, after you've identified the process of your business and how it functions, then you're working on teams. That's created time, and then you're working on the team. And that's when you're putting together your org chart and you're putting together your structure to grow, to add people to your team, right? It could be an admin, and we'll get into this a little bit, but it could be an admin. It could be somebody to outsource your marketing. It could be somebody to do your bookkeeping, right? It doesn't have to actually be a hired team member. It could be a contracted business partner. But you've put together that structure so the business can operate based upon the systems that you've built and the delivery process you've built earlier on. At that point, then you get to when the business can run without you. So that means a general manager can come in and run the business for you, right? At that point, as a business owner, then you're looking at your synergies. You can get into other markets, other product categories, other services, or other locations. So this is all about building a business that isn't dependent upon the business owner being in it, so you can go to Australia for 3 weeks. And then the final stage, you get into the passive income if you choose to sell the business, because if the business is dependent upon you working in it, you can't sell it, right? Nobody's going to buy it if you need to be there, because you want to retire, they're going to need you to work there. So once you've built a business that runs without you, and you've built a model, kind of like we call it a franchise prototype, if you've ever read E-Myth, then you have a business that can be transferred to somebody. So these are the 6 steps. Questions? Okay.
I don't know if Howard, are you still here? Well,
I'm here.
Okay, so
I had it on mute.
you see this chart, you see this process. That's perfect for what we were just talking about.
Absolutely. That's why I'm here.
Oh, awesome. So you haven't seen this, but you were talking about this?
Yeah,
That's correct.
For the
last year.
Yeah, we've been talking about some of these items for the last year that Howard's building a business, and he's certain steps that he's in.
All right. Well, that's I love when I hear that. So the next step is we have a scorecard. This was in the files that Howard sent out to you. You can go assess your business and where it is. Okay, so it's a PDF file. And what I would do if we were in the 3-hour workshop, I would say, go through and score your business. You can see the 6 steps: mastery, niche, leverage, team, synergy. And now you can see some of the blocks underneath that, right? Because you're not going to remember everything I just told you. You can say, okay, mastery is destination. That's the goal for the business. Where am I taking the business? Time. Do I have time to work on the business? And you're scaling, you're scoring yourself a 1 to 10, right? Time management. Delivery is customer experience, right? How are you in delivering something that the customer values, and can you do it repeatable every single time? Are you 10 in that, or are you a 5 because your team gets it right or half the time? Right? That's delivery. And in financials, how well do you understand your financials and have a grasp of your financials? Score yourself 1 to 10. Niche, again, what's your unique selling proposition and your guarantee? And then there's 5 ways. This is a whole other hour or 2 of talking. Is the 5 ways to grow your profits. It's not customers, revenue, and profit. It's understanding your leads, your conversion rate, your repeat transactions, your average dollar sale, and your profit margin. Those are the 5 ways that you grow your profits. People say, I want to go get more customers. No, you need to generate leads and you need to convert them. Understanding how often, the frequency of leads you generate, and how well you convert them, that's where you focus the business. The customers will come if you've done that. Okay, so that's very important on the financials. Leverage, you can systematize your business around the people and how you train them. Your delivery and distribution, which is your operations, your accounting processes, and then your back office systems and technology. And then team, do you have a recruitment system? Environment is your culture. What's the leadership structure? And do you have the 7 keys to a winning team? So the next 2 I'm not as worried about. Why are you laughing, Howard?
That's that level right there is what Howard is. Team.
Yeah.
So
often people think they have an issue in team, but the important part about the scoring is you may find a gap somewhere below, right? So the team may seem like a problem, but it may be that the system and the process isn't defined well enough. Or it could be that the destination and the goal are not stated, or maybe the values aren't stated. So the people that you've hired don't fit your values. So what often seems like an issue at the team level could be a symptom of something lower in the business, lower down on the 6 steps that needs to be addressed. So this gives you a way to score yourself and you say, wow, I'm doing great on financial and time. I'm so on delivery, but my destination isn't quantified at all. I haven't defined that. If I work on that, I can then work back up the team. I don't want to jump to conclusions, Howard, but that's how this works. So the idea is you score yourself here and look at your lowest scores, starting from the bottom up, right? Meaning you may have a 1 up here in team, but if you have a 2 in destination, for example, you want to work on destination first, right? So this is about zeroing in on areas of the business to improve. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Again, I know I'm going fast. There's a lot in here. So then what I'm going to do, I'll direct you over to this workbook. And in the workbook, identify 3 to 4 areas in the 6 steps of the scorecard you want to focus on, right? So going back to, maybe it was delivery, let's skip destination, delivery, unique selling proposition, and let's pick another one. Delivery, unique selling proposition, and people in education. So go over to the workbook and you'll see in here there's sections for each one.
Right.
So there's stuff in the beginning about your 5-year goals and your 1-year goals and things like that nature in the beginning of the workbook you can work on. But right here, you see mastery. There's money. What did I say? I said delivery.
Mhm.
So you go into delivery and you say, well, does the team have a defined customer service level that all team members are aware of and monitored against? Yes or no? Do I want to work on that? Or do I really want to work on a documented flow chart and a procedure? Or do I need to make sure I'm surveying my customers to determine how to serve them? Or do I need to work on phone scripts? These are 6 things you can do to improve your delivery. If you've scored yourself low in delivery, you can identify any one of these 6 that you say, I need to work on this to work on my business. If it's one of these, put a yes. If you don't need to work on it, you can skip it, leave it blank. So you're going to go through and you're going to look in the areas that you identified you wanted to work on. I said delivery, unique selling proposition. This is about having a guarantee, or you need to define what makes you unique. And you have sales strategies that reflect it. If you pick what you want to work on in unique selling proposition, you mark a yes. What was the other one I said? It was in the systems area, I think. Maybe it was people, I don't know. But you pick another section that you want to work on. And now you've got a little bit more detail. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. And you can see that you turn it into, then the next step is to go into, well, hold on. You want to then put what quarter you want to work on that. Because when you're done this, you're going to get about 10 to 15 areas that you want to work on. Many of us, particularly when we're younger and energetic, we say, I'm going to get them all done in January, or by March, I'm going to get these 15 things done. No, you're not. It's not possible. It's absolutely not possible. So the next step then is to think about what is the sequence that makes sense, usually starting at that mastery level, then moving to niche. And what's dependent? Well, I need to find my unique selling proposition before I create my sales script, for example. You wouldn't want to create the sales script before you know why you're unique, if that makes sense. So you would put these, you would check off what quarter you want to put these things in. Make sense?
Yeah.
Is the dog barking bothering you guys as much as it's bothering me?
I don't hear him.
Okay. Go ahead, Howard.
No, I'll hold it. I'll hold it to the end.
Okay. All right. So we've scored ourselves. You've identified the 4 areas, and there's a page in here after you've gone through here that I really, really like. I want to point out to you, page 31. You hearing them now?
Oh, little.
The dog is on the team step.
That's right.
He's clearly not part of the team.
No, he's not helping me. He's not helping me at all. I should have locked him up. Maybe the next one will be locked up for. What I wanted to show you is then take those action items, top 15 goals for next year, and you can put them on this page 31. Work on unique selling proposition, work on my sales script. You've identified your quarters that you want to do it. But here you can say, when do I want to start it and when do I want to finish it? And here's another key thing. Who is going to do it? How many are solopreneurs and how many have a team? So how many people are working by themselves? About half. And some of you have a team? Some of you have, if you have a team, by all means, put their names in here. I mean, some of it you have to do, but you may be like, it may be unique selling proposition. I keep picking on that one. You think you know why you're different, but you don't know exactly. So you may say, well, I want to go talk to my customers, my strategic partners, and some other people, and I want to get some outside information to see why they think I'm different and where I excel. So you may delegate that to somebody on your team because that's a learning process for them, and they can go do it. Say, hey, have a lunch, have a coffee, have a phone call, send an email, create a survey, all sorts of different ways. So you may delegate that activity. So now you've got your goals that are built upon your business situation with an element of, hey, I'm trying to grow by 10% next year. You've put some start and stop dates to them with some logic. And the next step is to move into, you can see if we have a page for money mastery, right? We had talked about delivery, right? And you're going to put the goals for next year. And then you're going to write the goal, write the actions you're going to do. I'm going to survey. I'm going to develop my unique selling proposition by creating a survey and creating a feedback system with my current customers, right? To make sure I'm getting their feedback. And by the way, one of my actions in there is I'm going to make sure that Google reviews is part of my feedback system. So I'm continuing to get Google reviews and improve my marketing strategy. We'll put these under actions. And then we're going to create a SMART goal. I'm assuming most of you have heard of SMART goals at this point.
Yeah.
I have it in here. For the top 3 to 5 goals, you're going to do the SMART goals and the subtasks. A SMART goal is specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant, and it's time bound. So it's not the way this is presented is you create the goal and define the tasks. It's a little bit of both. You're like, okay, I need to work in this area, I need to create a goal, and then what are the subtasks below it? And then you can prioritize it. So an example of a SMART goal, we will hire 1 outside sales and 1 inside salesperson in Q1 2023. Is it specific? Yes. I can, it's measurable. It's 2 people. Is it attainable? Probably. Is it relevant to growing my business by 10%? Yes. Is it time bound? Yes. Q1 2023. Or I'm going to reach $1 million in 2023, and I'm going to do it. These are my quarterly goals. I'm going to break it down to reach the 1 million. So these are SMART goals that would be built upon the tasks and strategies you're going to execute by putting them on that sheet. So, kind of wrapping up. Stage 1, long-term goals. Looking at the goal planning exercise, do your have, do, go, create financial targets, understand your financial timeline based upon your financial situation and aspirations. And then you may choose to, there's a worksheet in there, you can revise the goals if needed. That's your long-term goals. Turn it into a 1-year goal, create a 1-year revenue goal from the goal planning. And then you're going to look at your 6-step scorecard to look at your current state, look at the areas that are most important to improve your business, and pick your top 15 goals for the year on that page 31. And then you create your SMART goals. And then what I didn't say, the next step, most important, add it to your calendar. If you use a daily calendar, if it's digital, it's paper. Otherwise, you lose it. Now, and then review that monthly and quarterly. The one other step I didn't put in here for time, and probably rightfully so, when you put those activities you're going to do, remember I did Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, what's very important is to get very precise about the next 90 days. What am I going to do the week of January, 8th or 9th is the second week, right? This week I'm going to survey. The next week I'm going to make sure I'm getting results from my survey. The next week I'm going to summarize my survey or whatever it is. Build out a 13-week calendar on the things that you said in Q1. Try not to get encumbered by the things you said you're going to do in Q2, Q3, Q4, because it's going to slow you down. You have too many things. But that gives you a week-by-week diary to go work against. And I didn't show that in here. Often when we try to schedule everything, I would say even monthly, when you're 10 months out, 9 months out, you don't know what's going to happen. You're shooting in the dark to say I'm going to do this precise activity the second week of September, but get very granular about the first quarter. And then the end of the first quarter, you go back to this goal sheet. Where am I? What continues? What am I going to do in the second quarter? And Howard, I've got a spreadsheet that I'll add the file right here. I've got a quarterly planning sheet that I can give to everybody to show what that looks like.
John, just for your information, at the end of this meeting, I'm going to email everybody a spreadsheet with everybody's contact information on it. So if you wanted to send that out, you'll have everybody's email address.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Or I can do it for you.
Okay, I will put that in there. So this is just testimonials. I do have some offers. I have different things that can be done. Discovery sessions. We have a action club, which is an online class. I do group coaching. Obviously, I do one-to-one coaching. I don't want to overdo this. And then now it's time to get into action. So what I think I went long. I apologize, Howard, but
It's okay. It's fine.
any
Oh,
questions?
no. Fine.
Yeah, the unique selling proposition I always find to be difficult, especially in what I do. I view what I do so personal, and there are other good people. I don't think there is anything unique. I think it's really difficult to find for me. Not that I don't believe in the concept. I just think it's difficult to define.
I will drop in a worksheet. I just dropped in a worksheet that you can use for that. Where is it?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I was going to open it up real quick so people can see
Okay.
it. Sort. This worksheet's about 9 pages long, and it just
Okay.
asks you questions and it works you through. Who are your competitors? What do they do well? What don't they do? And you may not know this, and you may have to go find it out. But at the end, by the time you've gone through these things, you'll start to figure out why you're different and versus everybody else. Or maybe you don't know why you are today, but where's the opportunity? What does the market need? What do the customers need? And what are the other people doing the same? So there's this worksheet. I dropped it in the chat for you.
Yeah, I see
And
it.
then I want to show you that while I'm doing this, I'm going to show you that 13-week calendar that I dropped in. Here you put your SMART goal. Here's the weeks, and you just drop your tasks in. There's an example up top. So this is a way to turn all that stuff into what am I going to do for the first quarter next year.
It's blank. There's a lot of work there.
No one said it would be easy.
I thought Chris would have said that.
What other questions?
Just explain how you run your business and where you're
My
at.
business?
Yeah.
Our traditional model has been one-to-one coaching where we meet with business owners an hour a week, every week. We ask people to think of it as a 12-month journey or more. Some people have been coached 13, 14, 15 years because as the business evolves, challenges change and the scope changes. So that's the traditional way. People, we build, it's a 30-day process, right? It's not an annual contract or whatever, but it's a mental contract. We have classes, business coaching and education. I have a class on business fundamentals that runs about six months. I do group coaching. So for small businesses that are just starting out, I get 10, 15 people together for an hour a week, kind of a mastermind, kind of like this, Howard.
Yes.
And talk about profit levers. And each week I bring a topic. So the classes are a curriculum. This is what we're going to cover. The group coaching is I bring a topic every week based upon my sense of what the group needs, and we talk and learn from each other. The coaching model is one-to-one, very customized one-to-one, whatever you want to talk about, that's what we talk about, whatever your goals are. And then we have events throughout there. Like I can do an assessment, I can do a strategic plan with you. We do planning every quarter. Next week, for example, this thing that you saw in 30 minutes, we're going to do a full one-day session face-to-face here in Atlanta with education, working with business owners, and you're going to build the plan and you walk out with the business plan in hand. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's a bunch of it.
Yeah, no, it did. I just Googled action coach and things came up and I want to kind of understand that, what happens there. Because I got somebody as in Stewart, Florida that popped up.
So we're global, right? We started in Australia, we're global. We are a franchise model, okay? And then we're grouped by different geographies. There's 5 or 6 action coaches in Atlanta. I'm in Georgia. We're paired up under the master licensee who's in Florida. So I don't know where Stewart, Florida is. Is that Miami area or more
North,
North.
south of Tampa, just north of West Palm Beach.
So you may have gotten the firm Sage, I think is what they call themselves now. But yeah, there's people down there who do exactly what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we all have our own little tweaks,
But not as good as you.
Of course not. They don't know the food equipment industry, the food and service industry. I don't know if they do.
So
Or they don't.
your USP would be the food service industry.
You know, it's interesting. I thought it would be. I focused on manufacturing and restaurants, and it hasn't taken off there. I work with a dentist. I work with a grading and landscaping company, a manufacturing consultant, a wedding planner, realtors, because the fundamentals apply to everything. And that's what I love about it. Because having been in corporate where I was dealing with it, I literally was in one company dealing with one issue for 5 years. And I went to the other company, I was dealing with the exact same issue for 7 years. Like, imagine dealing with the same problem for 10 years. I'm like, hey, this is great. Hour to hour, it's something different.
So how's your success with those clients that you're coaching over the past, I don't know how long you've been doing this, but I'm wondering like how much they've improved and have they followed, I'm sure they followed some of them have followed your directions. How many have fallen out because they couldn't put the things down in writing or etc.?
Two good questions. So I've been doing this for 2 years as a coach. My current client, and each of these are softballs. I coach travel softball, and each softball represents a client. Not all are active. So my longest clients have been working with for 13 months. And just the other day, I looked at my active client base and said, based on the projections this year, how are they going to perform? Now, some of them have only been working with for 4 months, some 13 months. The average client has improved their top line by 15% and their bottom line by 30%. Now, ultimately, we talked about the 5 ways. In that model, we talk about people growing by 46 and 60%. So my 15 and 30 kind of in line, knowing that I haven't worked with everybody the same duration. Now, the best client for me is somebody who actually does the homework and wants to learn and is willing to change. There are people who have started and said, I can't do this, I'm not focused enough, and frankly, it wasn't working, and they're wasting their money. Because if you don't do the things we say we're going to do, and I say we, it's not like I tell you to do it. I'm like, hey, what do we think is the best thing? I have these ideas, I have these suggestions. If you say you're going to do these things and you don't do them, you're just throwing your money away, and you're wasting my time and you're wasting yours. So right now I'm working with 12 people consistently. Some of them are on the one-to-one model, some of them are on the group model. People that do their homework, do the stuff, willing to invest the time, are going to do better. If you don't do it, you don't do it. One of the things we do has been important. I'll share it with you. is anyone have KPIs, key performance indicators for their business? Metrics?
No.
So let's see if this sheet will show it. I've got some samples. I don't want to pull up anybody's real data for obvious reasons. Here we go. Can you guys see a spreadsheet with a lot of pink on there?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
My video went away. So I thought I lost you all. All right, I'm going to go blind here, but so the KPIs, key performance indicators, I really start with the results. What are the, this was a sports trainer. He sells supplements and he does training. He trains high-level athletes who are going to get drafted into major leagues. He's got a target for monthly revenue, weekly revenue, daily revenue. Starts at the right. These are the results that he wants. To get those clients, he needs to get leads. He needs to get them through Facebook, networking, open networking, and strategic partner referrals. And he's determined that to do 400 client trainings in a month, he needs to have 12 leads in a month, right? Because these people sign up and then they come back. They do 3 trainings a week, that type of thing, right? They're doing speed and agility, strength training. So he's determined he needs 12 new leads a month so that he can do 400 training sessions in a month. And then we work back to the activities. Well, to do that, he needs to generate so many social media posts. He needs to go to so many closed networking events. He needs to have 4 strategic partner meetings. So the accountability piece, once we've defined what your model is, how you're going to grow your business, then we really focus on these activities. Are you doing the activities you said you're going to do to build your business? Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's the accountability piece. Plus the, hey, you were going to work on this on your unique selling proposition. You know, Steve, you were going to fill out this unique selling proposition worksheet last week. What did you get done? What did you have problems with? What do we need to work on? What don't you know? Oh, you don't know what the competitors are. Okay, next week, let's go identify who your top 3 competitors are, look at their website and see how they define themselves. Next week, go talk to customers, etc. So there's project-based and then there's activity to work in the business. What else?
Thank you for answering that. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. What else? Well, Howard, I really thank you for the opportunity and inviting me to do this. I love, as you guys can tell, I love doing these things. If you have any questions, you have the materials. If you're like, hey, you went through it really fast, what do I need to do here? Feel free to reach out, give me a call. As I mentioned, you know, I do discovery sessions, they're complimentary. You know, we sit down for an hour and a half, talk about your business. You know, we talk about coaching too, but you can learn how this applies directly to your business. Lots of other programs. I will shoot you an email just so you have it. But I want everyone to do well. And also for the people, and you know, if you prefer to work with somebody locally, I can introduce you to an action coach near you. But I can also do it remotely.
Well, can you just give us back the screen, please, for the moment?
Yep, sorry about that.
Great. Well, thank you very much for coming today. We really appreciate it. And of course, what you offer can't possibly be boiled down into 30 minutes or 40 minutes. I mean, there's so much to what you do, and the benefits are great. And we really appreciate you coming. Anybody have any more questions?
Can you put your contact information in there?
I'll send it out, John. I'm sending it all out.
Send it out? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yes, he can put it in the chat.
Yeah, I can do that. It's not an issue.
Well, I just had a question. Where would trial and error fall in your, I know, probably in the mastery. Because I know when the business starts out, there's a lot of trial and error. You know, let's try this program, let's try that program. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, we change.
You know, it's something, it's in the scorecard. If you look at the scorecard, I forget what box it says test and measure, right?
Uh-huh.
It's the same thing as trial and error. So everything is test and measure, right? You think this process is going to save the time, you change it, measure it before and after. You think this marketing program is going to generate something?
Give me about 5 minutes.
So it's everywhere, Howard. Before someone spends a lot of money, test it in a small scale.
Right.
Trying to test and measure, I have to say we're very similar.
Right.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming. And
Thank you all.
I'd like everybody to introduce themselves like we normally do, but really we have to do it quickly because we only have 2 or 3 minutes. I want to let everybody know who each one of us is and how to reach you. So, Ed, why don't you start us off?
Well, good morning, everybody. John, thank you very much for the presentation. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
My name is Ed Burton with Seacoast Sales in Orange Park, Florida. My number is 904-334-4489. We're an equipment supply company specializing in frozen dessert equipment. We have batch freezers, soft serve machines, display cases, slushy machines, whipped cream machines, deal with Carpigiani, ISA, Pre-Gel, and Carpigiani Horeca out of Spain. Thank you.
I started with you so John would feel at home.
Oh,
No, these are my people.
Howard, why don't you tell us?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Howard. The name of my company is The Gasket Doctor. I do the rubber gaskets and seals that go around the refrigerator doors. I do installation and service for all of South Florida, but then we can also service the whole United States with gaskets and seals. We also do curtains that hang from the coolers and back doors. If you need any information, you can contact us through our website at gasketdoctor.com. And don't blow your gasket. Call the Gasket Doctor today.
Hey, Brian.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks, John, for the information. I'm Brian with Rogue Financial Group. Rogue is a commercial equipment financing company that's been around about 15 years, works all over the country. I work primarily in the hospitality industry, but I do other sectors like construction equipment, logistics, medical. Again, Rogue is, Rogue Financial Group, 404-723-7222. Thanks.
Okay. Rick.
Good morning, Rick
Morning.
Israel, affiliated health insurers located here in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm the one that's not in the restaurant industry, but I can sneak into the restaurant industry because I can offer health insurance for your individual employees. If you have assistance or need assistance with getting group insurance with your company, we're more than happy to help out. We finished our annual enrollment this year, very successful. Now it's time for a nap. Thank you very much. 256-298-8774.
Steve, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve Whitehill with Anchor Business Advisors, and I help people buy and sell businesses. And then I even help them finance it as well. Steve Whitehill, Anchor Business Brokers. My phone number is 561-376-7500, and my email address is steve@anchor.com.
Okay, Chris Kaufman.
Good morning, Chris Kaufman, Restaurant All-Stars, primarily providing restaurant management talent to the restaurant industry. Most of our work is the Southeast United States, but we recently placed a person in Seattle, Washington. And Restaurant All-Stars, based Vidalia, Georgia, also have an office in the Atlanta area. Restaurant All-Stars, 404 All-Star, which is 404-255-7827. Come see us.
Okay, John Pastore.
John Pastore, I'm not in the restaurant type business per se, but I help people with innovations. I have a company called Tax-Free Retirement Group. So we will show you how to use leverage to create a tax-free retirement that can help benefit your employees and yourself. And in addition, we do innovations with Solutions Alliance. And I have an innovation that works for coaches, especially if they're doing international. And maybe I'll talk to you about that afterwards. Okay.
Yeah, that would be good. That's a good point, John.
Yep. Thank
The
you.
two Johns get together on that one. That'll be good.
Right.
Terry, good morning.
Good morning. They could technically be the two J's. Anyways, good morning. Good morning. Terry Appel, today's restaurant news. I supply lead reports to vendors, to companies, to Cisco, to Gordon, to the FRLA, to anybody that wants them. I've just renewed several people. You get a monthly leads report with 40 to 70 leads each month, brand new on an Excel spreadsheet, so you can sort them any way you like. If you want a sample, email me, terry@trnusa.com. Thank you. And thanks very much, John. Looking forward to seeing you at 11.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to thank everybody for coming today. I want to thank everybody who will see this video on YouTube or in their mailbox, because I will send this out to our database and all of our social media sites. If you want to contact us, call us at 561-620-8888 or our website, trnusa.com. Again, thank you all for coming. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.